John, if we are to get back to a more rational choice of policies as you advocate, how do we scale it? It's all very well, kind of voting on whether you want a road or not a road, through as they do in Switzerland through their village. But how do you scale that to a kind of national level policy as opposed to a kind of mosaic of local policies which may well contradict each other?
I don't know.
Next.
Not really.
Okay.
But I do have a point of view on it. There are two elements. One is asking better questions. So in Switzerland, I think.
Sorry, were you being? Get him. You're not coming back on my platform.
I didn't mean that.
I feel a coup coming on here on the leadership.
I'm just like
seize the microphone, get the radio station.
I need to dig myself out now. So a friend of mine in Switzerland said he was asked the question in a local referendum as to whether taxes on whether you own a horse or not should be 18 or 19%. That's an example of a very stupid question. That's what I meant. Okay. It wasn't about your question. So I think those kind of short-sighted, let's call them policy questions, aren't necessarily useful. Questions that are that have some vision to them, that are about what kind of future you want. We all have, I think, a right. I think that's what democracy is, to have that say. How you integrate them, I think, is something that I've not really seen. Maybe Switzerland is a good example in this other way, which is that you have an umbrella nation, and then you have areas to the nation. That is to say that the nation abides by some general principles or even laws that we all can agree on, or at least over a period of time can agree on. But different locations might enact them slightly differently, or might actually take a different viewpoint. And I think that's a system that hasn't existed before and could be possible. And the way it would be scaled is more or less, I think, through technology. There's currently not a system that uses blockchain as a nation or uses these systems as a nation, but it's the 21st century. We won't stop that from becoming the case. I can't see that you'd be able to reverse that kind of.
What does that look like in practice?
It takes most of the world's energy, I would think, to use the blockchain on a kind of massive democratic.
Okay. I'm trying to split those two questions. The energy one. If you, I'm not sure I've seen someone calculate the energy it takes all of the banks in the world to run banks and central banks, but we have gone and evaluated how much the blockchain costs to run, because that way we can argue against progress. It's a way easier thing to do. If you were to actually balance the maths against one another, I wouldn't be surprised if it tipped the other way. Your question about how it works in practice, there's a few different examples. So Iceland crowdsourced a whole constitution over months. Every week they wrote the constitution, published it. People edited it online, and they did that for weeks and weeks over 6 months. They came out with 70% of the country voting on that constitution, and lawyers around the world saying it was a more thorough, understandable, accessible constitution than anything that had been seen before. Now I know Iceland's 300,000 people. It's not 60 million.
Right. It's Sheffield.
But no one's done that before. Yep. So it's easy to knock down ideas simply because they've not happened. But it's happened once and it worked great. Other examples are in Taiwan. They used AI, and they've explicitly changed laws thanks to an AI that asks thousands and thousands of people what they think on something. And the AI is able to say what you agree and disagree on. So these examples are starting to exist simply because of the year that we're in. They couldn't have happened before.
Okay.